morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you're all doing well. Happy Sunday. It's just gone 2 p.m. here in the UK. It felt a little bit like spring yesterday, but that was very short-lived, and it's cold and windy today, so not nice and really dark, really, really cloudy. I think we're going to have a storm. So I did intend to talk about Brian Koberger again today. When I went through the judge's order for the Franks thing that got rejected, that got denied, I did ask in that chat whether people would like me to read the judge's order on the genetic information, and some people said yes. I didn't get very much response, but some people said yes. So I intended to do that today, but I've got a bit of a headache, so I decided that I don't want to do a whole bunch of reading. That's just going to make matters worse. I'm fine. I'm not ill. I've just got a little bit of a headache. So I decided to come on and just talk a little bit about Sebastian. This week is going to be horrendous. It's going to be horrendous. There's a new interview that's going to come out on the 26th from Katie and Chris. That's already been advertised by the news channel that did it. And can you imagine what that's going to be like? I just can't. So you may have noticed that I've not talked about Sebastian very much over the last maybe 2 or 3 weeks, because I've become very, very despondent with this case. Everything that's come out is just disgusts me. It disgusts me. It really does. Everything is just disgusting. And it's only with that new little piece of video coming out that has brought me back into Sebastian's case. It doesn't mean to say that I'm not watching and I'm not taking things in. I absolutely am. But I'm keeping very much kind of in the background on it. Yeah, like a train crash. Where it is going to be on. I'll share my screen, because I was going to play it at the end, but I might as well play it now. I was kind of going to go in chronological order, but I might as well play it now. All right, so let me just make this bigger. All right. So it's WSMV4, and it's at the end of this news piece that they mention it. Right at the end here. But we might as well just play it. It's about the video that came out. These are the people that released the little video, and SF Investigates wasn't happy that they released it right now. We thought it was going to come out next week, but once the news get hold of something, then they're not going to hold it, are they? They're not going to hold it in. They're going to release it. They're going to release it as soon as they can. But law enforcement have come out and said that whatever this is, whoever this is, and there is a person, there is absolutely a person. If you've seen my video on it, there is absolutely a person there. But law enforcement have said that it's not relevant to the case. So I assume that means they know who it is. It's ambiguous, saying it's not relevant to the case, but it must be somebody that they've accounted for. That's all the conclusion I can make, isn't it? It's all the conclusion I can make. So who is it? We don't know. It's apparently a different person than the dog walker. But it's at the top of Kelling. It's near the construction site. So I'll play this just a couple of minutes. And right at the end, they say about the new interview with Chris and Katie.
We have new video that the family of Sebastian Rogers and a private investigator helping them with his cause believe could be significant in the search for this missing 16-year-old. Our Holly Thompson first broke the story at 3 o'clock and asked the private investigator why he believes this is so significant.
The private investigator is helping Katie and Chris Proudfoot search for their son, Sebastian Rogers, who vanished so far without a trace from his home. That was almost a year ago. The family hired Steve Fisher late last year to take on Sebastian's case. Now, Steve says the video they're focused on now could be a break in the case. He says if you look closely, it shows a person in dark clothing in Sebastian's neighborhood right around 12:17 a.m., the night Sebastian disappeared. He says that person appears to hide behind a car when someone walks the dog nearby. Then that person takes off in the opposite direction. I asked Steve how significant this video is, video the public has never seen.
So what we found, we went through over 100 hours of surveillance, and it wasn't until the third pass through the surveillance that we even spotted this person. Is this person accounted for? Does law enforcement know who this individual is? Do they even know about this person in the video? And if they do, have they accounted for who that is?
Steve told us active Amber Alert out for Sebastian. Hundreds of hours have been pouring into finding him. Ground searches, drone mapping, the use of scent dogs, and the scouring of surveillance video. So what's next in the search? I asked Steve that question, and you can see where he says they will soon focus their search in the WSMV4 News app. The family did sit down with me one-on-one. I'll have that full story for you on the day 1 year ago that Sebastian went missing. That's Wednesday, February 26th.
There you go. So they'll have the full interview on Wednesday. So that will be with WSMV4 Nashville. And that is going to create a whole bunch of crap.
That Sebastian went missing. That's Wednesday.
I meant to do this. Every inch of their facial structure, their everything, every word they say, every way they look, don't look at the camera, or they look at each other, or they don't look at each other, or they put their eyes down, or the face makes a smile, or the face doesn't make a smile, or they cry, or they don't cry. Everything about them will be wrong. It disgusts me. It absolutely disgusts me when people go this far with parents of a missing child who are not suspects. They're not suspects in the case. Yvonne, thank you for being a member for 28 months. Good morning from upstate New York. Well, good morning to you. Well, good afternoon from Northern England. Look, I'm not saying that these parents are perfect. I'm absolutely not saying that these parents are perfect. I've said this again and again and again. I don't agree with Chris Proudfoot's disciplinary methods. I absolutely do not. However, one thing I will say is Chris is not responsible for Sebastian's disappearance. He was in his RV park. We know where Chris was, like we know where Seth was. So all this nonsense that Binoculars Bobby came out with recently, the neighbour from the top of Kelling, about that Katie carried Sebastian out to the ditch area and then met Chris, and Chris then they took him somewhere. Come on. Look, that neighborhood is dark, but if a camera, right, there's numerous cameras in this neighborhood. There's no street lights, but most of these houses have some form of lighting connected to them. Like there's a lot of porch lights and stuff. And on this camera, this is one at the top of Kelling. Right, this is Kelling Lane. So this isn't on Stafford Court. This is on Kelling Lane. You can clearly see that car, can't you? You can see that car. Now, the person, I zoomed this in somewhat. The person, you hardly see them. You just see, like, it's almost like an apparition. You know, it took me a long time to see anything, honestly. And it's only when they pass this light source here, so somebody's got the light on in the windows, that you see the person pass by, like here. But I couldn't make anything out until that happened. Like there. The person just passes by. So they're walking on this path here. They're right there. So they go around this car. Now, I brightened it up and slowed it down. So this is a little bit clearer. And I slowed it down. There. You clearly see them walking, but there's not enough information in that. I think you could say it looks like a male person, but there's absolutely no way you can ID that person from this image. And this was 12:17 a.m. It's a ghost, yeah. There's no way you could ID that person. The only way that law enforcement, this is now an ultra slow down version, the only way law enforcement would be able to have an ID for this person is by interviewing the neighbours. And, you know, one of the neighbours might have said, yeah, I was out at that time. You know, I was out visiting somebody and I came back about that time. You know, that would be the only way that law enforcement would be able to ascertain who that was. Now, the dog walker apparently is somebody different. So this person isn't the dog walker, as some people are saying. Apparently. Look, unless we see the dog walker and that person in the same frame, then we don't know 100%. Or you see the dog walker walking off in one direction and then you see that person going in a different direction, then clearly they're two different people. But ultimately, this has caused quite a furore this week. And it's dragged me, I guess, back into the case a little bit. But it doesn't help us. It doesn't help us in any way, except to say this is the quality of the cameras. So this is one of the cameras at the top of Kelling. And although it's very difficult to see a person, like there's no way you're going to be able to ID anybody. You can only ID them based on what they say their movements were. But one thing you absolutely can see is vehicles. So if Chris or Seth had come home, or Katie had gone out in the middle of the night, there is absolutely no way they'd have got away with it. Zero ways they would have got away with it. To take Sebastian away in the middle of the night by anybody in that neighbourhood would have been impossible, because vehicles can clearly be seen on these surveillance cameras, and they're not high quality surveillance cameras. So if Sebastian left that neighbourhood, he didn't leave it in a vehicle. He didn't. And by neighbourhood, I mean like the immediate neighbourhood. So I've done this many times before, but I'll do it again. What I mean is the immediate neighbourhood. And we know from the TBI, that they said they've accounted for all vehicles coming and going throughout that night, throughout the time when Sebastian likely disappeared. So by the immediate neighbourhood, I mean Stafford, Kelling, and these little offshoots here. We've got Devon. I think that's got a different name. Winton. So there's only one way out that way. So you can't get out the top of Stafford. At the time, you probably could have got out there, but you'd have to have been driving over the construction site. I'm going to talk about the construction site in a minute. You could have if you'd done a little bit of off-roading. There is a road in there now, but there wasn't in February 2024. But that would lead you out here. And these houses along here, at least 2 of these had cameras. We heard that from the dispatch audio. These houses were up and running with people living in them in February of 2024. Heard from the dispatch audio. I think it was either 2 or 3 cameras just on this row here. So if a car had tried to come out this way, like kidnap Sebastian from this neighborhood and tried to come out this way to bypass cameras, they'd have got caught on these cameras here. So there's no way, there's absolutely no way that Sebastian was kidnapped from that immediate neighborhood. There's no way. It didn't happen. It did not happen. So any theory about Chris coming home in the middle of the night and getting rid of Sebastian, or Seth having somebody come and pick Sebastian up, or Katie go out in the middle of the night and bury his body, didn't happen. Did not happen. 0. No, did not happen. Did not happen, or else vehicles would have been seen. The only way, and I keep saying this, the only way Sebastian could have been taken away in a vehicle and got away with it would be if it was really well planned. That maybe Sebastian met someone on the construction site. That person knew the area very well and went up here, along Ward Lane, down here, and waited here. But even then, I'm not convinced that they wouldn't have been seen, because even though you've probably not got any cameras on Ward Lane, because there's very few houses like here, I'm wondering whether there'd be cameras along here. Because you've got like an entrance to beach, you've got this shop here. So I'd be interested to know whether law enforcement checked cameras along this road. I'm assuming they did. New Hope Road. I'm assuming they did, because I bet they have a camera. The school will have cameras. You've got residences up here. Now, if someone was walking, these cameras wouldn't catch people walking, I don't think. But you've got some chances of catching vehicles whichever way they go on New Hope Road. But after a year, I think if Sebastian had been abducted, I think we'd be further forward. I don't know, because you can, law enforcement can know that Sebastian was abducted and have an indication of what direction he went in, and then all these dry up. So if he was abducted, I do think if he'd met someone online, because that was my number one theory in the early days, that he met someone online, that he got online even though his parents said that he didn't use the internet. We now know that's not true. We now know he does have online access at Seth's, even though they're trying to rewrite history now. But I think law enforcement would have been able to trace that person. I don't know. What we need is an update from law enforcement, and I'm hoping that we get one this week. I'm really hoping we get one this week. Now, the TBI haven't updated. This is their page for Sebastian. They haven't updated since the 26th of August, so the 6 month mark, when they said today, 6 months since Sebastian Rogers was reported missing from his Sumner County home, the Amber Alert remains active. TBI special agents from multiple units continue to assist the Sumner County Sheriff's Office in efforts to locate Sebastian. In addition, in following up on leads and tips as they come in, agents continue to review and reevaluate all the information gathered to date. Today, the FBI Memphis Field Office Nashville Resident Agency announced an offer of reward of $50,000 for information leading to the location and return of Sebastian or the arrest and conviction of those responsible for his disappearance. Anyone with information concerning the whereabouts of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is encouraged to contact the Sumner County Sheriff's Office at 615-451-3838 or the TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND, or you can email them or you can contact your local FBI office. Or consulate, embassy, consulate, wherever. All right, so that's the last update we had from the TBI. I am hoping that they do an update on the year mark. Now, I do remember Summer Wells at the year mark, they did a press conference. If you remember, if you were following the Summer Wells case, that's actually the last press conference that TBI did for Summer. Was on the year mark, and then just refused to answer any questions. So it was a pointless waste of time. So I'm wondering whether they are going to do a presser this week for Sebastian. If they do, I hope it's meaningful. Like just doing it to say, hi, we're still here. Hi, we're still here. And then refusing to answer any questions. I am going to be disgusted. I'm already disgusted by just about everybody in this case. I really am. And I'm uber disgusted in Seth and all of the antics that his team, if you can call it that, are doing. I'm not a fan of Chris Profoot, regardless of people thinking that I'm paid by the Profoots. I'm not a fan of Chris Profoot. I don't agree with his disciplinary methods. I feel sorry for Katie. I think Katie has got a really, really hard stick here, being the one that was actually in the house. I genuinely don't think she did anything. And if it's true that she was wearing an Apple Watch while she was asleep, then law enforcement will know absolutely that she was asleep. Think about that. Think about that. Your Apple Watch knows when you're asleep. So if it's true, it's a rumor. If it's true that Katie wears an Apple Watch and she was wearing an Apple Watch when she was asleep, then law enforcement will absolutely know 100% that she was asleep. Because you can't fool an Apple Watch into believing you're asleep when you're actually murdering and carrying away someone's body. But it's a rumor. But it's an interesting thought, isn't it? It's an interesting thought. Anyway, what inspired me today, I went down a little rabbit hole. This is what I want to talk to you about, really. I went down a little rabbit hole because I came across this on Twitter. All right, so I don't really know why somebody posted this, but it was to do with dumpsters on the construction site. And it sent me down a little rabbit hole because I listened to this news piece and it's from, and again, this is just what someone put on Twitter. I don't have the actual link to this. So it only got 510 views and it must have been in the first couple of days of Sebastian being missing. So WKRN News 2. I'll play you this. And it's this person driving around who came upon this construction site. So you see what the construction site looked like in the days after Sebastian disappeared, and the searchers on the construction site, and the dumpsters on the construction site. So I'll play this, and then I'll tell you why I went down a little rabbit hole. Oh, why is it not playing? Maybe I have to do that.
Tells at this point.
Well, Nicole, I've been out here with Jerry, our photographer, since this morning at 3:30, and we were over at the command post for that whole time until just recently we decided to drive around a little bit, and we stumbled upon this area that's been under construction. I'm going to have him pan so you can see. We saw search and rescue teams searching around these houses, going in and out with a dog, trying to chase down and track down Sebastian Rogers. Now, several agencies, like you said, are helping out with this search, some even as far as Collierville, more than 3 hours away. Officials say Sebastian has autism and likes to get into small spaces and hide under his bed. So for those who are near this search area around Beach High School, along Long Hollow Pike, you may want to check out buildings, garages, cars, even under decks in case Sebastian used any of these as hiding places. People are doing just that. I even just saw one resident check under his hot tub cover. So people are definitely all trying to help out with this search. Again, description of Sebastian: he's 5'5", weighs 120 pounds, with dirty blonde hair, most likely wearing a black sweatsuit and glasses. So if you do see Sebastian.
All right. So that was in the first couple of days. So we go back to these dumpsters here.
If you know where he may be, you're asked to call the sun.
Look at these dumpsters. So you've got some here, you got some here. And there's probably more. If someone was hiding in one of those dumpsters, you wouldn't know, would you? Unless you took everything out. Thank you, Jennifer, for the $1.99. 387 watching, 155 likes. Hit the like button and subscribe. Please do. Hit the like button. It helps just push this out in the algorithm. It's nothing to do with ego. It just pushes it out into the algorithm. And please subscribe. If you watch my channel and you're not subscribed, it's completely free. Just click the subscribe button. There's no hidden twists or any funny business. Just hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to get up to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I think I can do it because there are plenty of people who watch my channel who don't subscribe. I don't know whether they're hate watchers or what, but you might as well just subscribe if you watch my channel. All right. All right. If someone was hiding in one of these dumpsters and then was too scared to come out because they knew the cops were there, how would they, or when would they decide that it was safe to come out? It's an open question. Well, it's funny you say that, Katerina. The scent dogs would have gone to the dumpsters, because this is my rabbit hole that I went down. Because I thought, did I hear that a dog hit on a dumpster? Am I dreaming that I heard that a dog hit on one of those dumpsters at the construction site? So I made it my mission this morning, despite my headache, to find out. Oh, you heard that? My question is, did anybody else hear it? And where is it? All right, so I made a mission and found this post. All right, so this is from March the 7th, 2024. There's been a rumour that the dogs hit a scent on a nearby dumpster after Sebastian Rogers went missing. I have no idea if it's true or not. They are searching a landfill today. So do you remember the landfill search? And I'll come on to the landfill search in a minute, because I think the landfill search got everybody all het up. And some people in the mainstream news misspoke about it. But this dumpster thing, I can't find the source for this rumour. Where did this rumour come from? Because I know I heard it. I know I heard it in the first week, but I can't find where that rumour came from. I heard it was the reason why they searched a particular landfill. Yeah, well, I went back and I listened to the dispatch audio again, you know, from Jessica Danielle's channel. She condensed 11 hours of dispatch audio into about 20 minutes. And I went back and listened to that whole thing again, and I didn't hear dogs alerting on dumpsters. The only thing I heard was something like, will you check? I think it was one of the drone pilots. will you check overhead in the dumpsters? So will you run your drone over the top of the dumpsters? Which is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing to say, because if you run your drone over the top of that, what are you going to see? What are you going to see? Your drone's not going to be able to see through all of this debris that's in this dumpster. Are you? I mean, what kind of drone do you have? What kind of software do you drone have? If you're able to see, like, X-ray vision through all of this debris, if somebody was hiding, like, down at the bottom of this dumpster. It was a news channel. Well, maybe what people are confusing, because I can't find it. I can't find it. I can't find it. However, what I did find was this. And this is TikTok, but this is what Google gave me. Right? And everybody's an expert if they do a Google search. And apparently courts accept Google searches as expert testimony, as we found out at the Delphi trial. So this was somebody who's clipped Nick Barris. This is the plot gets thicker. This is Nick Barris from News Channel 5 Nashville. And if you remember, back in the early days, he was doing live streams on his... Yeah, Cecil search. Thank you, CW. He was doing live streams on his Facebook. And somebody's clipped him saying this regarding the landfill search. So I'm going to play this. I'm wondering whether this is separate than what was on the news, or what was somewhere about a dog alerting on a dumpster at the construction site is completely different than what Nick Barris says. So I'll play this. Now, it's a weird, strange voice at the beginning. Right, just give it a second or two, and then you hear Nick Barris. So somebody just clip this.
Update on missing Sebastian Rogers. As I told you in the last video, law enforcement went to a landfill in Kentucky today to search. We are now learning that they brought cadaver dogs along with them. While combing through the trash, the cadaver dogs made a hit. Nick Barris, a journalist at News Channel 5, brought us the update. Here are his thoughts and what he had to say.
That one of the cadaver dogs hit on something. Now, who knows exactly what it is? You're all saying, could it be human remains? Could it be Sebastian? The answer to that is, could be, okay? But it hit on something, okay? It could turn out to be something else. Remember, this is a dump, but it hit on something that's convincing enough that my understanding is they're going to be back and continuing to search tomorrow. I think, had they been out there all day today, found nothing, realized this is just a huge mound of trash, and this dog had not hit on any scent out there. And again, I'm not saying it hit on a body, but it hit on something that they want to further investigate. I think they might have said, man, this is a lost cause, no point. The dog doesn't hit on anything. We can't find anything. There's a mountain of trash here. But my understanding is there's something there, but I don't think they found anything today. And the fact that the dog hit on something today does not mean it's a body, but it's enough that they want to continue digging to see what it was that set that off.
I'll keep you updated. Update on...
So my mind went into a little bit of a tailspin there. I was like, I don't remember that. I remember watching all of Nick Barris's live streams that he did on Facebook, and I thought, well, maybe I missed one. Maybe I missed this. Maybe I just, he was doing them like almost every night. I didn't hear that. Yeah, Kentucky, the landfill search at Kentucky. It was construction trash, that's right. It was construction trash. So I wondered whether people had got confused between a dog hitting at the landfill and confused that with a dog hitting on the dumpsters. However, what my memory is, and I might be completely wrong, my memory is that it was a dog hit at the dumpsters on the construction site, and that's why they went to do the landfill search. So the dog hit at the dumpsters at construction, and then they went to do the landfill search. But I might be completely wrong, and I can't find the original source. But this is bizarre. when you consider that this is what was actually said on the news. So that is Nick Barris doing a live stream on his personal Facebook. Right, this is Nick Barris giving giving his thoughts, giving his, what he's heard. Whereas the news said this.
Any new evidence after searching a landfill?
Nearly 2 weeks since Sebastian Rogers went missing from his Hendersonville home.
Officials say they have not found any new evidence after searching a landfill for hours yesterday. WSMV's Brendan Tierney has been digging for answers about where the investigation, Brendan, goes from here.
Tracy and Marius, the Sumner County Sheriff says he still considers this to be a search and rescue effort, but the longer this goes without a solid lead, he's concerned that it will become a recovery operation. Detectives searching a Kentucky landfill say they did not find any evidence connected to the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. The 15-year-old with autism was reported missing 12 days ago from his Hendersonville home. Sheriff Sonny Weatherford says there was no specific tip that led them to this Hopkins County dump. They just wanted to make sure they didn't miss any evidence. J.E. McMurtry Disposal handles trash for the Stafford Court neighborhood. The company says trucks were picking up between 5 and 6 a.m. Monday, between when Sebastian was last seen and reported missing. The garbage was taken to a transfer station, then by another company to the landfill. Sumner deputies worked with Kentucky State Police, Metro Police, and other specially trained agencies using dogs to search through the area. Trash was dumped last Monday. They did not find any new leads or information. And the sheriff says they are continuing to follow up on all tips that come in, including a couple of them today that did lead once again to dead ends. They are asking anyone with information to please contact the TBI.
All right, Brendan Tierney, thank you.
So I know, I remember this. This is starting to bring back lots of confusion that we all had. Because this news piece here, and this is from WSMV, they're saying that it was the household trash that they searched. Because we were the first round of stuff that came out about the landfill search was that it was the construction trash that they went to search, and that was at Kentucky. They searched both. That does make sense. That's what I concluded at the time. The household trash, it appears, gets picked up by one company and then transferred to Kentucky. So maybe the construction trash goes straight to Kentucky. Household trash gets picked up by local companies, and then it gets transferred to Kentucky. So basically, it all gets to Kentucky, but in different ways. They search 2 landfills. So it's my understanding, though, that they only did 1 day. Now, maybe they did a bigger search and it just wasn't picked up by the news. Maybe everybody was focused on one landfill area and they actually searched another one as well. But where did Nick Barris get this from? Because, look, even though he's talking on his, personal Facebook, he's still bound by, surely, the ethics of his job. And yes, he is a little bit more speculative when he does, these live streams. That's fine. That's fine. But where did he get this information from that a dog hit at the landfill? Where did he get that from? Because it wasn't brought up on the news, so presumably the news didn't think it was viable. So was Nick Barris just listening to random rumours? Or what? I don't listen to anything Bobby says. I don't listen to anything that Bobby says. But let's listen to this again, because he's very, very clear. He's very clear.
Missing Sebastian Rogers. As I told you in the last video, law enforcement went to a landfill in Kentucky today to search. We are now learning that they brought cadaver dogs along with them. While combing through the trash, the cadaver dogs made a hit. Nick Barris, a journalist at News Channel 5, brought us the update. Here are his thoughts and what he had to say.
That one of the cadaver dogs hit on something. Now, who knows exactly what it is? You're all saying, could it be human remains? Could it be Sebastian? The answer to that is, could be, okay? But it hit on something, okay? It could turn out to be something else. Remember, this is a dump, but it hit on something that's convincing enough that my understanding is they're going to be back and continuing to search tomorrow. I think, had they been out there all day today, found nothing, realized this is just a huge mound of trash, and this dog had not hit on any scent out there. And again, I'm not saying it hit on a body, but it hit on something that they want to further investigate. I think they might have said, man, this is a lost cause, no point. The dog doesn't hit on anything. We can't find anything. There's a mountain of trash here. But my understanding is there's something there. But I don't think they found anything today. And the fact that the dog hit on something today does not mean it's a body, but it's enough that they want to continue digging to see what it was that set that off.
I'll keep you updated. Update on Miss.
I don't know. I don't know. It became more puzzling. But the only thing I could find on the dumpster hit was this on our Twitter. There has been a rumor that the dogs hit a scent on a nearby dumpster after Sebastian Rogers went missing. I have no idea if it's true or not. They are searching a landfill today. That's true. It was Nick Barris. I've lost the comment now. It's gone up, but I can't find the comment now. But it was from Mike, who said that if Nick Barris had ethics, he would have. I'm paraphrasing you, Mike. I can't remember the exact words, but he would have retracted the lights thing, because he still maintains the light. Like he was the one. He was the one who released the flashlights video. And look at all of the crap that created. We don't know what those lights were. We don't know whether they were a trash truck. We don't know whether it's someone with a flashlight. We don't know. But I really wish Nick Barris had never released that footage, because it's created a whole lot of unnecessary speculation. It's interesting. That's right. I've covered it. I'm being hypocritical here. I've covered it. It's interesting, but it's created so many erroneous theories that people have believed. And this dumpster thing, though, I don't know why it's in my head. Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem, Shaggy. You're absolutely right. He released a small corner of the screen out of context. If he'd released a whole video, okay. But it was that small corner of the screen. It was so incredibly misleading. And he created a narrative around it. And some people have stuck with that narrative, like Mob Crew has basically stuck with that narrative that it was between the houses at the back of Stafford Court. And it's not at the back of those houses. I'm sorry, it's not. They didn't take dogs to the landfill while searching for Quinton Simon. They did. They did have dogs. The thing with cadaver dogs at landfills, it's very dangerous work. And they don't just let the dogs go and, search piles and piles of trash. They can't, because there's all sorts of dangerous stuff that's going to cut the dogs, infect the dogs. There's dangerous gases. What they have to do is they have to separate, like, the trash out and then let the dogs run on it to see if there's any hits. So if you remember from the Quinton Simon search, they were bringing piles of trash down onto this almost like staging area, and then spreading it all out and then letting the dogs run around it. But it's very, very dangerous work for dogs at a landfill. Very dangerous. So if a dog did hit, if Nick Barris is right, if a dog did hit on something at the landfill, given that they were only there, as far as we know, they were only there a day. Look how long they were there for Quinton. They were there about, 5 or 6 weeks searching for Quinton Simon's remains. And even then, they only found, partial remains. I honestly think if they'd had a genuine cadaver dog hit at the landfill, they would have spent much longer trying to exhaust why that dog hit. Now, there are reasons why dogs can hit on stuff that is not human remains, even though they are human remains trained. If it's a new dog, that sometimes hit on animal remains when they shouldn't do. Pig remains particularly are apparently smell similar. I don't know. Similar body composition, similar body fat, subcutaneous body fat, stuff like that. The breaking down of that must smell similar to a dog. I don't know. Sewage can create false hits. So there's any number of things, really, that a dog could have hit on at a landfill and it be wrong. But I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued why Nick Barris said that. But my main aim of going down this rabbit hole was, did a dog actually hit on the dumpsters? Because if a dog did hit on those dumpsters, it would have been in the first couple of days, and it wasn't a cadaver dog, it was a live scent tracker. Dirty diapers, yes. So if somebody had put, a trash bag with a bunch of dirty diapers in there, yeah, that could create a hit. That could create a hit, definitely. Construction trash would have been easier to search through. But if you look at the dumpsters here, they're full. These ones are full. So they're due to be emptied, aren't they? They're overflowing. Can't really tell about that one. But these ones are full. But what if Sebastian, let's just say, this is the theory I had. What if Sebastian was hiding in a dumpster, messing about, hid in a dumpster, and then was too scared to come out when he heard the cops? Everybody shouting for him. Would he have come out eventually? Would he have come out that night when people had gone home? Or he couldn't get back out. Yeah, he couldn't get back out. But there are people living nearby. This is not, this area at the back here, it was these houses they were building. It was these houses they were building at the time. So all of that was construction. They were doing a lot of dumping rubble. They were moving rubble. They were filling in holes. They were preparing for the road. They were flattening it, just getting rid of debris, flattening areas so they could put the road in. The drainage was already in. So they're doing putting the road in. And then, as you can see here, this is from December 2024. They've got this back end now that they're starting to construct the houses. They got the road in, they're starting to construct the houses. But that was completely just sand, clay, whatever. That's the retention pond that Max dove into. They were building these houses here. So these incomplete houses, where are they? These incomplete houses, well, there's a road there. These incomplete houses are, I think these ones. So you're probably looking like there. So that road would have been in. So there's any number of hazards on that construction site. It really concerns me that they didn't shut this down, even just for a day. Thank you, the unnamed true crime. The unnamed true crime, something, it's cut your name off, but thank you for the $10. Could you be thinking of the alleged dog hit in Rockland Recreation Park? That was Cajun. No, that was completely different. No, I'm not thinking of that. No, I know exactly what that was and why that dog hit. And no, I'm not thinking of that. It was before that. But thank you for the $10. It was in the first week. It was really early on. It was in the first week. Maybe not in the first couple of days, but it was in the it was the shortly before they searched the landfill. But they did inform the construction people. I'll play you that section from the dispatch audio. I just listened to it this morning. Okay. I think it's after Max. Max is 7:50. I think it's maybe about 9 o'clock. All right, we'll take it back to right here.
Sorry, guys. Look just like a person from the air. Hendersonville 66. What's the name of the child that we're looking for? First name is Sebastian. I'm sorry, can you repeat that? First name is Sebastian. Last clothing description was black sweatpants with a white stripe, black long sleeve t-shirt. Nikki, how many drones do y'all have up? One at the moment. I've got mine grounded so I can get started over. I'll be back in the air momentarily. 29 Central on scene. Put 2 out here with me. And for has anybody been there since the initial? There's a whole bunch of people here now. 4 in the morning. Can you help me listen to the radio on the north end until we wrap this up, please? Yes, sir. Brandon, you've got Hendersonville Mounted Patrol coming up there, and Joe's sending some more cars if we can start from the beginning, from the original house, and set up a new plan up there. Yeah, boy, that's what we're doing now, sir. Thank you. One all year, so neighbor advised that he's found the child under his son's car, which is across the street, 2 doors up. So be sure and search under cars and under things. Who do you want to go with this other K9 search and rescue? I just talked to the GC of the construction back here. He's going to start getting the word out to all his crews that are out here working.
There you go. So 8:58 something. So presumably he spoke to the foreman and he's going to get the word out to all the guys, the crews working there. But that was 9 o'clock. Look at that time. 8:52. They started working on that construction site at 6 a.m. It was still dark when they started to turn up at the construction. Max got there at about 7:40, 7:50? Yeah, that's Max, 7:50. There was people when Max was doing that track, there was lorries, trucks, dumping stuff, So much evidence would have been missed even before Max got there. Even before Max got there. And Max was there at 7:50. The call came in at 6:33. So they had the first dog at that construction site in just over an hour. That's pretty good going to get a dog on scene. Right, just so happens that, you know, he's from Sumner County. And then Rex, they had Rex there as well. They had the 2 Sumner County dogs there, but Max was the first one at the site in just over an hour. But they had been dumping like loads of it. 6 truck dumps loads before Max. I haven't counted the number of dumps. I can't. But there were several. You could see them in the background. So the area where that was, so you saw Max, like Max was dropped here. So he came down here, he went round here, like he was on this tree line, and then he ran up here. This is like a small hill. He ran up here, and then you lose sight of him going this direction. So he's heading for this. You know, he sets off at a trot going up this hill, and you can see all along here, like this area, probably along here, they were dumping like whatever it was, rubble, moving stuff, flattening stuff. And they'd been working since it was still dark when they started turning up. So to have the construction guys alerted at 9 o'clock, there was 3 hours of work already done at that construction site before the foreman even was alerted. I mean, that's just insane. It's insane to me how much they lost. And you know, people have said, well, they couldn't shut down the construction site. It was, you know, it's a lot of money, and you know, they still have to pay all the workers. Come on now, it's a missing child. It's a missing child. If the first people who got to that construction site went and spoke with the guys and said, can you just hold off until we've done a search of this construction site? Can you just halt? And they might have said, well, foreman's not here yet. We can't really do anything yet. And, you know, they go, well, it's a missing child. I'd have created holy hell. If I'd have been a dog handler in that circumstance, I'd have created holy hell that they were expecting my dog to work in an environment where there's trucks all over, they're moving debris. How on earth do they expect to get results from any dog or any search when there are trucks all over the place? When I'm just flabbergasted that site wasn't shut down. I just assumed it was shut down, at least for the first day. But I honestly cannot believe. And then when I heard this morning, like I said, I went down a rabbit hole. I didn't intend to go into all of this today. I was, content with Brian Kohlberger until I thought, I can't be doing my 29 pages of reading when I've got a headache. But we'll play this little bit again. It was 8:52. Play it from here. What was that about Katie? Michelle, did the radio say a few people, including mum, at construction site? If so, possibly that's a familiar scent of the dumpster. No, I think it was at the house. I don't know where it was. We'll play it from here, and then we'll get to that because it was before the construction. This is the mannequin. I've gone a little bit too far back. This is the mannequin. It's funny, this. No sound. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. So when I put the wrong screen on, you know what I'm like. I do it all the time. All right, we'll start back. I'm a little bit further back than I was, but this is funny. This is a mannequin. You should be able to hear it now. We should be good right now.
By that pond. There's the house on the other side of the tree line. Going back toward beach or going on the back side? Yeah, on the back side, and he's not moving. He's just standing there by himself in the woods.
It's Hendersonville 517. I'm on the northeast corner in the cemetery across the tree line. Am I close?
No, the back side.
Nikki, if you can, do you have anybody there with you?
Stand by. Let me see if I can find it on my map. I got my drone grounded for the moment, and I'll see if I can do it. Target's over.
One of the two. I'm in my truck.
Two, there's four of us on foot coming across the yard, start directions.
19's on the screen.
Straight in. Keep it on. Go left. He's come back, he passed it. Right, won't be there. Walk with you going.
They're all that excited, think they found something, and then they go, it's a mannequin.
Into the woods, You should be about 15 foot from it.
What's the child's first name?
Should be all over it, whatever it is right there. The two people walking the wood. It's a mannequin.
That cracks me up every time. It's a mannequin. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys. Look just like a person from the air. Hendersonville 66. What's the name of the child that we're looking for?
First name is Sebastian.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
First name is Sebastian. Last clothing description was black sweatpants with a white stripe, black long sleeve t-shirt with a print.
Nikki, how many drones do y'all have up? One at the moment. I've got mine grounded so I can get Sartopo up. I'll be back in the air momentarily.
29 Central on scene. Put two out here with me.
10-4, has anybody been there since the initial? There's a whole bunch of people here now. 4 in the home.
So it's at home. So has anybody been there since the initial 4 and the mom? So presumably that's 4 officers and Katie. Because Katie, when they first turned up, when the first responders turned up, Katie was still driving round. So Katie will have gone back home. So that's what that refers to, 4 and the mom. So no, she's not at the construction site. She's at home. So 4 and the mom. So that was like 8:30. So Seth turned up, he says about 8:30, something like that. 8:15, 8:30. I can't really remember what Seth said, but anyhow. All right, we'll just let it play on to the bit about the construction, which is 8:52.
Can you help me listen to the radio on North End until we wrap this up, please? Yes, sir. Brandon, you've got Hendersonville.
Yeah, the mannequin. Apparently, it's the landowner moves the mannequin around. Like it's a thing that they do. Like sometimes they like put it in like a window or it's looking out of a window or something. So it must be just something they do. Maybe it's to scare, I don't know, scare kids away. I don't know. It's funny, but it's just quirky, weird, but okay.
Mounted patrol coming up there, and Joe's sending some more cars if we can start from the beginning from the original house and set up a new plan up there.
Apparently they dress it up as well, like for Halloween they dress it up, and it was, I don't know who it was who was saying, I think it may have been Chris Proudfoot who was saying I don't know, come on, some people are weird. Look, we have a scarecrow festival here. Like the next village to me, it's like only a very small village, and every year they do a scarecrow festival, and some of the scarecrows that people make are absolutely brilliant. They're so good. Like just walk around the village on scarecrow festival weekend, and it's really good. This village, they've tried to do a snowman festival. Like And that hasn't worked quite so well because the time when the Snowman Festival's on, it's like not snowing. But anyway, it's just the quirky things people do.
10-4, that's what we're doing now, sir. Thank you.
One all year, so neighbor advised that he's found the child under his son's car, which is across the street, 2 doors up. So be sure and search under cars and under things.
Who do you want to go with this other K9 search and rescue? I just talked to the GC, the construction bacteria. He's going to start getting the word out to all his crews that are out here working.
Right, so he's going to get the word out. 8:52, he's going to get the word out. So they could have been dumping rubble, debris. They could have been putting a bunch of stuff in dumpsters. If Sebastian, let's say Sebastian was on that construction site and he hid in a dumpster, like, because he heard the construction guys coming at like 6, still dark, right? He's in this dumpster. What if they dumped a whole bunch of stuff on top of him? Without knowing just literally how much work they did in those 3 hours, but yet knowing that it was quite a lot, it's impossible to say exactly what could have happened. But a multitude of things could have happened. And I need to find that source as to who said it, what news channel it was, when somebody said that a dog hit on one of the dumpsters at the construction site. That would have been a live scent tracker. And does it mean Sebastian was at a dumpster and climbed in a dumpster? I don't know. But look at the state of those dumpsters. Look how full they are. And we can only see like that one and that one. I'm assuming there's more. Oh, the trucks. I just can't believe. I can't believe how much evidence would have been lost on that construction site. And now the houses are in. How's anybody ever going to know? How's anybody ever going to know if Sebastian is still at that construction site? How's anybody ever going to find him? It beggars belief. And yet at the same time, we've got this absolute shit show that's gone on. And it's going to get worse this week. It's going to be terrible. This week is going to be terrible. Really think he was really badly hurt in a fall on the rough ground around 6:17 Parkenham. His brain with the delicate problem. His enemy run? I don't know what that means. Look, I honestly think the answers are at that construction site. I do. I really do. I think the answers are at that construction site. Even if he's not there, even if this is, a horrible thing to think that he was hidden, in a dumpster and then they piled a lot of stuff on him and it killed him, or he's buried underground because they dumped a bunch of rubble on him and then flattened it. That's horrible to think about. But even if it's not that drastic, not that dire, I still think the answers were on that construction site. The fact that they were working when the dogs turned up, the fact that they were working, they were moving earth, they were blowing up, there would be dust everywhere. Dogs can't work in that kind of environment, not effectively. And is it any surprising, that the dogs lost scent here? Is it any surprising? Because there's dust, they're moving stuff. there's going to be no consistency in that scent track at all. It's just going to be destroyed. Is it any wonder? Is it any wonder why we are here today? 3 hours of work. 3 hours of work before they even alerted the foreman. Before they even said, you know, we got the construction guy, he's going to get the word out to his crews. I don't know. And all I ask is, for those of you who are absolutely convinced that one of the parents did something, it doesn't matter who, whether it's Chris, Katie, or Seth, all I ask is that this week, you know, it's going to be a really horrible time for all of them, all three of them. It's going to be a horrible time. And please just think about the actual likelihood of them being able to do something and carry it off and not be caught for a whole year, and maybe just temper it down. And the new interview that's going to come out with Katie and Chris, it's going to create a bunch of crap. And please just be respectful and just be mindful that they are suffering. They are suffering, whether or not you think they're guilty. Actually, they're not, and they are suffering. That's all I ask. Because it's much more likely that other things happened. Much more likely that he got injured on the construction site, or he left the construction site and got injured, or he wandered off and somebody took him. They're more likely scenarios than Katie carried him off over her shoulders, and then Chris came along and then they took him somewhere else and he's in Memphis, or they threw him in the river, you know, near Memphis. None of that stuff is quoted in any form of factualness at all. Those things are just impossible based on the information we've got. But I really hope, really hope that the TBI or Sumner County come and do a press conference this week. And if they do, that it's meaningful. That they don't just say, sorry, can't answer that. Sorry, can't answer that. Sorry, can't answer that. And they're just there basically in name only, like they did for Summerwells in year one. You know, when Leslie Earhart just said, sorry, I can't answer that. Can't answer that. She basically didn't answer anything, and we had nothing. We had nothing. I really hope that Sebastian's case isn't another Summerwells, and that he is found in whatever way that is. That he is found. But honestly, I despair. I despair of this case. I really do. Yeah, construction site holds the answer. I believe so. And it looks very different now than it did in February 2024. This is December 2024. So very soon, this entire neighborhood is going to be finished. And there's going to be no sign, nothing. No sign that it was once construction and a kid went missing there. No sign that even ever happened. Yeah, the water pipes, yeah. The storm drains, yeah. That's another theory that worries me. After Caleb Harris. Caleb Harris, big man, big guy. And he'd somehow got into the drainage system, and his remains were found at the pump station a few hundred yards away from his apartment. And apparently they'd checked all the storm drains. Apparently all that had been done. But no, obviously it hadn't, because Caleb Harris was there all along, a few hundred yards away, just across the field from his apartment. And there was all sorts of theories about what might have happened to Caleb. And there he was all the time. Must have fallen down a drain, or someone put him down a drain, but he ended up down the drains. So if a grown-ass man like Caleb Harris could end up down there, well, a skinny little teenager like Sebastian could certainly end up down there. Certainly end up somewhere. So, yeah, the drains are another thing that concerns me. I know they said they checked them, but I'm sorry. Check them again. Yeah, open manholes. Like a lot of these, because the drains were in, but yet the road wasn't finished, there was like open manhole, like right down, you know, where the road is now. Like these, I don't know whether you can see them. I don't know whether you can see them on here. Like these, I think these are the manholes. Like every so often. Like there was like open holes and absolutely big enough for somebody like Sebastian to just fall down. And the drains lead into these retention ponds. So could have absolutely fallen down a storm drain. And then you've got all the sinkholes and the little cave systems and, you know, and these things are not just deep in the woods. They're all over the place. They're all over the place. You don't have to walk that far to come across them in that area. There's so many things that could have happened to him completely by accident. And yet, the people who've got the most influence, the people who get all the, you know, all the hype and the praise are the ones who are being completely illogical about the involvement of the parents when there's absolutely no evidence. And actually, if the parents did something, they'd have been found out. They absolutely would have been found out based on what we know about the cameras and the surveillance and what was done in that neighborhood. And you get one parent who is disgustingly allowing his ex-wife to be basically shamed for relationships she had when she was 18 years old, lying through his teeth on a channel that has got like 600,000 subscribers, and he gets away with it. And I'm not saying that Seth isn't grieving. I think he is. He absolutely is grieving. I don't think Seth had Sebastian kidnapped. I don't. Look, anything's possible, but I don't personally think that. But I cannot endorse anything that he's doing and saying. And these people are just horrendous individuals, horrible human beings. And so many people are going with it, and it's going to all come out. It's going to be even worse this week than it has been because of that new interview. Yeah, he's grieving, but he's horrible. Yeah, he is. He is. Not that I agree with Chris's method of discipline. I absolutely don't. I can understand why Sebastian might have run away. I really can. Philosopher Stoned. Member for 3 months. Thank you so much. Thank you. I could understand why Sebastian might want to run away. Like, you know, they're going to either send him to a facility or he's going to have to go and live at Seth's and do online school. Those are his options. Did Seth ever go back to work? I don't think so. I mean, don't quote me on that, but I don't think he did. I could understand why Sebastian might want to run away, or at least get away and just spend, you know, the time on his own, just like wandering about. It's like messing about. Yeah, I'd have run away as well. I'd have run away. You're trapped between a rock and a hard place. You've got your dad who wants to like just keep you in on online school. And you've got your stepdad who's going to hit you with a belt if you don't behave. And you've then got this threat that if you don't behave, you're going to be sent to a facility. I mean, can you imagine that? No, I would, I would have made alternative arrangements. And look, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if he didn't run away. Like I've kind of thought, well, maybe he went for a walk and something horrible befell him. But no, what if he did? What if he has? What if he has managed to get away? What if he has? It's rare that it happens, but it does. It's rare, but it does happen. Thank you, Philosopher's Stone, for gifting 1 membership. And Miss T, welcome. If you've never been a member before, go and check out the members area. We've got members lives, we've got little videos, we've got bloopers, we've got little cute puppy pictures, we've got a bunch of stuff on there. I ran away from home, no one found me, but there weren't cameras then. I ran away from home once, and I sat in a tree. Right, in the woods, I sat in a tree and I could see my mother looking for me, out there looking for me. And I'm sat in a tree watching her. I went back home, like I slunk in like the back way when I knew they'd be in bed. But I was always out and about at night, like messing about in the woods and all sorts of stuff I was doing, like on my own. Just to run away and hide in the buses. Do you mean bushes? Watch them looking, yeah. It's like a little power trip. Like, ha ha, she's upset, ha ha. It's like a little power trip that you have when you're like, I don't know how old I would have been. Maybe 12, 13, something like that. Sat up in a tree. Pamela, member for 11 months. Good morning. How much have I missed? You've basically missed it all because I'm going to go now. I just wanted to come on and have a chat and rant a little bit and just ask whether, and clearly people do remember it being said about a search dog hitting on a dumpster. I'm going to go and try again. I'm going to try and trawl all the early news pieces and see whether I can find it. Obviously, nothing came of it, but I've just got it in my head now. I got it in my head. I do have to find it. I know it's out there somewhere. And I know it's different from what Nick Berry said about the landfill. It's different. It's definitely about a dumpster at the construction site. But anyway, thank you for joining me. And my headache's actually gone now. I still don't fancy reading 29 pages of Kohlberger stuff, though. So once I go here, I'm going to stay gone for the rest of the day. I'm going to go and watch something on Netflix. I don't know what I want to watch, but I'm going to go and chill out. I'm going to go and chill out for the rest of the day. So thank you all for joining me. Thank you so much. Thanks as always to the mods. We had some donations earlier on in the live stream. We had Jennifer and the Unnamed True Crime channel. And then we've got a lot of members who've been members for a very long time. We've got 28 months, 29 months. We've got a 3-monther and we've got an 11-monther. Pamela, thank you for the $4.99, just hopping in there right at the end. Thank you so much. And we also had a gifted membership as well. So all good. All right. Thank you all. I shall see you tomorrow. Don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow, whether I'm going to go to Kohlberger or whether I'm going to do something else. I'm not sure. Oops, we got We've got Furry, member for 25 months. Bye-bye. And we've got Blue Willow, member for 35 months. 35 months. You're nearly 3 years. Thank you. All right. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I shall speak to you soon. Bye, guys.